In 1976, an album came out of nowhere and broke every sales record in American music and was the real start of grunge music, according to Kurt Cobain. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video. You don't want to miss out on that. In 1976, an album came out of nowhere and broke every sales record in American music. The record label swore it was recorded in a world-class studio in Los Angeles with professional engineers behind the glass, but it wasn't. It was made in a flooded basement next to a furnace by one man with a day job, a man who ran a secret operation to fool his own record label, and they never caught him. This is the greatest con in rock and roll history. Meet Tom Scholz. He is not a rock star. He's actually the opposite of a rock star. He's quite an engineer with a master's degree from MIT, working 9 to 5 at Polaroid, the camera company. But at night, Tom goes home and disappears into his basement. And I mean a real basement. A tiny space next to the furnace with an ugly pine wall that flooded, in his own words, with God only knows what. Down there, Tom is building a recording studio out of junk. Broken tape machines he buys cheap and strips for parts. Gear he fixes himself using what he learned at Polaroid. Every paycheck goes into the music. For years, Tom records demo tapes and mails them to the record labels. And for years, the rejection letters just pile up. 1971, 72, 73. No. One label, Epic Records, sends a rejection so cold it's famous now. They tell him, quote, "This band has absolutely nothing new to offer. Remember that name, Epic Records. It's going to matter." By 1975, Tom is down to his last shot. He scrapes together enough money for one final demo, mails it to the 24 companies, and waits for the rejections to roll in. Except this time, the phone rings. A label loves the tape. They want to sign the band, and here's the moving moment. The label that signs them is Epic Records, the exact same label that said this band had nothing new to offer. Tom Scholz just went from basement nobody to signed artist. And after 5 years of rejection letters, the dream finally came true. Cue the happy ending, right? Wrong, because Epic had one condition. And that condition is where this stops being a music story and becomes a heist. Epic tells Tom, "You can't record the album in your basement. Union rules. You'll fly to Los Angeles and you'll re-record everything in a professional studio with professional engineers." But Tom knows something the label doesn't. That demo they fell in love with, the sound they just paid for, only exists in that basement. His homemade gear is the sound. Some fancy LA studio would just sand off everything that made it special. So Tom makes a decision that could kill his career on the spot. He decides to lie to his own record label. The producer, John Bolin, is in on it as well. They send the rest of the band, the guitarist, the bass player, the drummer, out to Los Angeles, where the real job is simple. Be decoys. Record in LA, look busy, keep the label's eyes on California. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Tom clocks out of Polaroid, eats dinner, and walks downstairs and secretly records the real album, alone in the basement next to the furnace. Every night for months, the label thinks their big new signing is cutting an album in Hollywood. The truth is, the album is being made under a house in Massachusetts by a guy who still hasn't quit his day job at Polaroid. Let that sink in. The man is running a full con on a major record label while keeping his 9 to 5. Because if this whole thing blows up, he still needs the paycheck. Real quick, I dig up stories like this every single week, the ones the industry never wanted you to hear. If that's your kind of thing, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Now back to the heist, because Tom almost got caught. There's a problem, a big one. Tom's tapes are stuck on his home machines, and to finish the album, all of that basement audio has to get onto the professional studio tape, without the label ever finding out where it came from. So Bolin hires a mobile recording truck, parks it outside the house, and runs a cable straight through the basement window. They copy the secret tapes right there in the driveway. Then Tom flies to LA for the last step. The singer Brad Delp records his vocals in a real studio. They mix everything together, and on paper, it all looks legit. Boxes get checked, the label sees a professional album. Fun detail, those hand claps on More Than a Feeling recorded in the studio bathroom because the echo in there just sounded better. Out of 8 songs on the finished album, exactly 1 was actually made in Los Angeles. Everything else, every guitar, every layered harmony you've heard on the radio 1,000 times, came from that basement. The final album was almost an exact copy of the demo the label had been told wasn't professional enough, but Epic Records had no idea. In August of 1976, they proudly released an album they believed was made in Hollywood. So, did the gamble work? It didn't just work, it exploded. Epic Records had no idea. In August 1976, they proudly released an album they believed was made in Hollywood. So, did the gamble work? It didn't just work, it exploded. Gold record, 500,000 copies in about 3 weeks. Platinum in 3 months, making it the fastest selling debut album by any American band up to that point. And it kept going. 17 million copies in the US, 20 million copies worldwide. To this day, it's the second best-selling debut album in American history, only behind Appetite for Destruction. The Basement tape the industry rejected for 5 years became one of the biggest albums ever made. And the story doesn't even stop in the 70s. 15 years later, a kid named Kurt Cobain writes a little song called Smells Like Teen Spirit, and later admits the riff was close to More Than a Feeling. Nirvana even mashed the 2 songs together live as a joke. So the Basement album didn't just break records. Its DNA is inside the song that launched grunge. Every label in America told Tom Scholz no, so he said yes to himself, lied to the suits, and bet his entire career that his flooded basement could beat their $1 million studios. And he was right. So the next time More Than a Feeling comes on, remember, you're not just hearing Hollywood. You're hearing a furnace room in Massachusetts and the greatest con in rock history. If you want the story of the pregnant singer who was dragged out of bed at midnight to record the most famous scream in rock, that one's next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out.